Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm painting Black Eyed Susans. I hope you enjoy the video. Give me a thumbs up if you do, and thank you very much for watching. I've done a sketch on tracing paper, giving myself a rough idea of what I want to do, but I'm not going to transfer this sketch to my canvas. I'm going to eyeball it. So today I'm painting in acrylics, and I have my usual set of colors plus one. I have titanium white. This one is primary yellow, raw sienna, raw umber, French ultramarine blue, sap green, and brilliant yellow green. And I've got a little dab of it there too, and some alizarin crimson. I've got my sketch here as a guideline, but I'm not going to transfer it. As I said, I'm going to use some raw sienna, and I'm going to sort of just roughly sketch in where my fence post will be. We'll say the top rail has fallen off. And I've got a tree over this side. I'm going to have a branch curving inward to keep your eye in, and have strong roots also curving inward. This makes the eye circulate around the picture. And the lake sort of comes around here. And there's a horizon line which I'm going to wash my brush off and put that in with blue. I want to keep it as straight as possible. Alright, managed to get a little white on my brush, but don't worry about things like that. And I have a track, actually that goes down there a little bit, and the track sort of comes, this goes down here. And then it widens up. We'll say it's a sandy track, so I'll put more. All right, that's got the rough shape of things. And I'm going to add Naples yellow. Since I've decided that's a sandy track, I'll put Naples yellow on my palette as well. I've added Naples yellow. Whenever I'm doing anything that looks sandy, a beach or anything, I always like to use Naples yellow because I think it looks more naturally sandy than any of the other yellows. You've got to do a lot of work to bring the other primary yellow or cadmium yellow or any of those yellows down to a sand-like color, and I think Naples yellow has already got it. Don't have to do as much work. And I might put a little along the shoreline here. All right, I'm going to make some green with a little French ultramarine blue and a little of the primary yellow. I might put some raw sienna in there too, just to bring it down a little bit. And I'm going to use that as my foreground color. I'm also with a a brush and a little more French ultramarine blue, I'm going to dot in some tree. And with another bristle brush, I like using my old bristle brushes for things like clouds, trees. I should have done that first. I'm putting a little French ultramarine and a little blue to make a mauvey colour, and I'm going to use that as the base of my clouds. I should have said alizarin crimson and French ultramarine blue, and then put my white on the top of that. Give that a chance to dry off a little bit. I'm also going to take some white and just put it along the base of my, or the top of my horizon line. Bluey green. I'm going to use some raw umber and some French ultramarine blue, make a nice dark colour, and I'm going to put in my trunk. And I'm sort of going to sketch underneath my post. I'm going to say the light is coming from this direction. And I'm going to reinforce this a little bit with some raw sienna. I'm going to use some Naples yellow on the back of this tree. And some raw umber along the edge of this path. All right, we're coming along. I'm going to put some lighter green as I go further out. I've added more yellow to sap green to do this. I'm going to use brilliant yellow green the further out I go into the light. And I'm going to use a much darker green here in the foreground where the tree is shading the grass. And while we're at it, we'll put some darker colour on the road. All right, so we lost the path a little bit over here and here. I think that's beginning to look good. I might say there's actually some greenery over here. Maybe a little up here. That looks better. I like that. It sort of made it look more like a lake or a bay. I think it might be a bay. I think that fence post is a little high, so I'm taking it out. I think that's better. I like that better. I've mixed some titanium white with French ultramarine blue. I'm going to reinforce that a little more. And I'm going to put in more cloud. And I'm going to use my powder brush and soften that. I'll put in a little dark here and there. This is that mixture of alizarin crimson and French ultramarine blue to give me that sort of purpley darkness of the shadow underneath. I'm going to use my fan brush and some blue, French ultramarine blue, sap green, and I'm going to bring in some dark scrubby things here. I don't want to put my flowers in until I've got something for them, for a background for them, and so that's why I'm concentrating on this first. some of this, because I'm painting in acrylics, I can paint over anything that I don't like. I'm using some raw sienna as well. And maybe a little of that brilliant yellow here and there. The further you get away from the foreground into the middle ground, the less detail you're going to see. And I think that's good enough for now. I'm going to liven up my shadows a little bit, and this is peculiar to me. Not everybody does this. But, you know, I'm showing you how I paint. And I'm using alizarin crimson because I just think it makes my trees and fence posts and things look a little more brilliant. Gives them a little more life. I like that. I'm going to use this, what is this colour? Naples yellow. Going to use the Naples yellow as the light side of my fence post. Perhaps where the sun catches it. And on the tree too. Maybe it catches the top here and there of these roots. And I'm going to use a little of that Naples yellow in my grasses down here. Just here and there. It's beginning to look better, I think. I'm going to start on my daisies, and I have one around there, another one around here. I'm just using raw umber. I have one here, another one here, and I have one here. Those are lined up a little more than I like. Maybe I should have put it there. See if I can wipe that out. I think that's better. It doesn't look quite as regular. I'm going to use a mixture of raw sienna and primary yellow and a little titanium to make it opaque. And I'm going to put on my petals using a small round. I'm dragging them in from the outer tip in towards the center. Okay. I'm going to use sap green mixed with a little titanium white and a little bit of raw sienna. And I'm going to put in some stems. Now I'm not totally sure what the leaves look like. And I noticed that with this one, I've lost my track. You just don't see it as well. And I don't like that. So I'm going to wipe this one out. Because that track leads your eye into the painting. And since I like to paint things in odd numbers, I'm going to put another one here. I know that doesn't look like much now, but it'll look better in a minute. So I'm going to put my track back in, and also that little bit of beach that you can see there. And I'm going to make my fence post more grey, because that will show up against the daisies better. I do change things around quite a bit. That's better. Now you get led into the painting. I've still got the pretty black-eyed Susans and the tree, and all I have to do is lead your eye in still further with my sailboats. But I think I'd like to work on the water a little more. I'm going to yes, I'm going to do that next. I'm going to say that over here, we see sort of coastline on both sides of trees. And I'm going to put a line of white under that. And then I'm going to show a reflection of that coastline underneath. I'm going to add a little green to the water as well, and a little more blue. Perhaps a little more white. I sort of work on it until it sort of gets to look watery. This is not tropical water. I know I often paint that because that's where I live. But I don't want it to look, I don't want the water to look as though it's got some nasty algae growing in it. But I don't want it to look too blue and unrealistic, because water really is sort of greenish, isn't it? I'm going to give the track a sort of shady side, because the grass will cast its own shadow. And I'm going to darken this a little using raw umber and French ultramarine blue. I use my fingers in my painting. It sort of sometimes gives you a nice smudge just where you need it. I think this is out here a little too far, so I'm going to sort of blue over that a little bit. Put my sailboats in before I forget them. I'm washing my brush off, and I'm just going to smooth it round the edges just to sort of make them a little more sailboat shaped. I have to live with that for a little while. Might need to change. I think these need a little darker stripe to their petals. I'm using raw sienna. You can hear water trickling. It's the water fountain for my pets. The cats loathe it. They walk past looking at it very suspiciously, but the dog won't drink from anything else now, so he loves it. All right, they're coming along. I'm going to put some lights on these. I just mix the primer yellow with some titanium white. this may not be the lightest they get. I'm going to leave that one quite dark. And I'm also going to work on these stems some more. And I'm going to pull in some leaves, and to be honest, I don't know what these leaves should look like because I haven't googled it. I know on daisies they're just like thin spears, and these are a type of daisy. I'm going to work on this scrub a little more. I tell you what, maybe we should put a stone in here. So I'm going to make a sort of grey colour using French ultramarine blue and raw umber, and I'm going to put a big stone here. That deals with a lot of the scrub at the bottom there, because you can have too much. I'm going to use some white for the tops of the stone. And my darkest dark is always French ultramarine blue and raw umber, because I'm not too keen on black. It's coming along. I'm going to lighten this sand and this bit of track. And put some lighter green. And then I'm going to look at it for a little while, have a cup of tea, and see what else I need to do. Because I'm working with acrylics, I've put wet paper towel over my paints to keep them from drying up completely. It doesn't take long for acrylics to become unusable. So this should hold them for 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm going to put some more light on these petals. And I've mixed up titanium white and primary yellow, and I'm going to just touch the tips of these on one side here and there, not everywhere. Just a few. And I'm also going to put a little more light in here. On this path. And Because that beach is in shadow, I'm going to add a little raw sienna down there. I might add a little line of it along here too. Brighten up this side of the tree shadow. A couple of dobs of light. And I think I'm done. I think I'll sign that and it's completed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and if you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, help the algorithm find me, and